Somewhere between the eye rolls, the silence, and the sarcasm, we fell in love. She doesn't care what you think. She doesn't perform. She walks into a room like she doesn't need anyone. And somehow, that makes everyone want her. Her name is Wednesday Addams. And she might be the most emotionally unavailable girl Gen Z has ever idolized, but why?
Emotions are a gateway trait. They lead to feelings, which trigger tears. I don't do tears.
Part 1. The psychology of emotionless girls. Let's start with the obvious. Wednesday's emotionally flat, almost robotic, but that's not a lack of personality. It's a form of emotional control. In psychology, this falls under something called low affect display. When someone withholds emotion, they gain mystery. And mystery? It's the oldest trick in the seduction handbook. The world's loud. Everyone is shouting to be seen. And Wednesday, she whispers. That silence forces you to lean in.
Careful. That's my cold shoulder.
Part 2. The rise of dark feminine energy. The dark feminine is trending on TikTok, and Wednesday embodies it perfectly. She's not sweet. She's not submissive. She's not asking for your approval. Instead, she's intuitive, independent, borderline dangerous.
The only person who gets to torture my brother is me.
She doesn't chase. She draws you in, and that flips the script on what girls were supposed to be. We used to praise pick-me girls. Now we praise girls who say, don't pick me at all. Part 3. A generation that relates to detachment. Gen Z didn't grow up in a bubble. We grew up in burnout, climate anxiety, cancel culture, social media trauma, the pandemic. Emotional detachment isn't new, it's survival. Wednesday's stoicism, that's not just a vibes, it's a coping mechanism. When she walks around Nevermore Academy with zero interest in fitting in, she's doing what so many of us wish we could do. Stop performing.
I do like stabbing. The social part, not so much.
Part 4. The trauma lens. Look deeper and you'll realize Wednesday's coldness isn't cruelty, it's protection. She's the hyper-independent trauma response in human form. She doesn't trust easily. She doesn't connect fast. She's always observing, not reacting. These traits are common in people who've been hurt, especially young girls who've learned that being soft equals being vulnerable. So when we see Wednesday's walls, we don't judge her, we relate. Part 5. Rejecting the likable girl. Let's talk about the likable girl. She's polite, she's pretty, she makes everyone comfortable. Now enter Wednesday. She's cold, sharp, intense, and she makes people uncomfortable on purpose. And here's the twist. She's still wildly admired because Gen Z isn't inspired by perfect. We're inspired by authentic. Wednesday doesn't play the game, and that's what makes her iconic.
I find social media to be a soul-sucking void of meaningless affirmation.
Part 6. She doesn't want to be loved. She wants to be feared. Most girls in media are written to be loved. Wednesday Addams is written to be feared, and strangely, we love her more for it. Why? Because she rejects something we're all secretly tired of chasing. Approval. She walks through life like it's a chessboard. Every word calculated, every look piercing. She's not begging to be liked. She's teaching you to watch your step. That's not sociopathy. That's strategy. And in a world that's tried to shrink powerful women for centuries, fear might just be the most honest form of respect.
I don't have a phone. I refuse to be a slave to technology.
Part 7. The Revenge of the Unseen Girl. If you've ever been the quiet one in class, the weird kid, the girl who didn't get invited to parties, then you already are Wednesday Addams. Because she represents revenge without violence. She doesn't throw punches. She uses intelligence like a weapon. Her wit slices deeper than any insult. And the best part? She never tries to prove herself. That's why her story hits hard. Because when the invisible girl stops trying to fit in, she becomes unforgettable.
Untie her.
I freed myself 5 minutes ago. Do you want a matching black eye?
Part 8. Silence is her power move. In psychology, there's something called strategic silence. It's when withholding words makes your presence louder. Wednesday doesn't rush to respond. She lets you squirm in the silence. She speaks when it matters, and that scarcity makes her voice valuable. Think about how rare that is. We live in an era of noise, TikToks, oversharing, constant opinions. But Wednesday, she chooses mystery, and mystery is magnetic. Part 9, she plays a role, just not the one you expect. Let's be honest. Wednesday Addams is a performance. She's in costume, she wears armor, she leans into the darkness. But it's not fake. It's intentional identity building. In psychology, this is called a persona, the mask we wear to survive. Most of us wear masks to hide. Wednesday wears hers to protect her freedom. She controls the narrative. You don't define her, she defines herself. And maybe that's what we crave most: the right to be the author of our own weirdness.
It's amateurs like you who give kidnapping a bad name.
Part 10, the cult of aesthetic detachment. The dark eyeliner, the long stares, the slow, deliberate speech. Wednesday's not just a character, she's a vibe. She gave birth to an entire generation of aesthetic detachment. You've seen it online. Girls dressing in grayscale making sad playlists, captioning photos with one-word answers. This isn't nihilism. It's a form of aesthetic rebellion. Because in a culture obsessed with soft girls, pink bows, and our that girl energy, some of us needed something colder, something that felt like armor. Wednesday isn't what we were told to become. She's what we became to survive. Maybe Wednesday Addams wasn't written to be a hero, but for a generation raised in chaos, comparison, and pressure, she became one anyway. Not by changing who she is, but by refusing to. And in a world that constantly demands more of you, she reminds us that saying less might be the most powerful move of all.
5 more minutes. I was just getting comfortable.